Hey everybody, welcome to Jennifer's Open Book where we don't believe in filters. I keep losing my signal, you guys, so if I'm in and out, I apologize. I am mad like most of the world and I want to talk about it. And I got my homie Anthony here to talk about it with me. Before I
What
get
up?
to Anthony, hi Anthony.
Hi.
If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit your like button, share this video, continue to share it, leave comments, you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about these situations. Go check out some of my other videos and leave some comments. Thank you to my regulars. You guys are awesome. So, Mr. Anthony, this is Anthony, my homie from Third Eye Visions. You guys see me over there, and you definitely see him over here. Say hi again, Anthony.
Hi. How y'all doing? Glad to be here again.
Anthony, are you pissed? Are you angry?
Yes, I am pissed. Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm very much
I'm
pissed.
um, I'm saying it with a smile because that's my personality and I can't help it. But I am very angry. So what we're talking about is what's going on right now. You know, we already had a lot of tension with this coronavirus, and now nobody cares about the coronavirus because the police have killed yet another black man, and people are pissed off. They're angry. We have tried peaceful protesting,
Hmm.
and peaceful protesting turns into rioting and violence because people are angry. And it's not just because of this one man, it's because of 400 years of this BS. And it's going to get worse and worse if something's not done about it. It's like you're not going to be happy until we tear up this whole country. If you guys go check out Anthony's show, I spoke a little bit about protesting and a little bit about my experience in protesting, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit here too. But I said that I am a nonviolent person. It is not in my nature to be violent unless I feel like my life is in danger. And at this point, my life, my child's life, I have brothers, I have nieces and nephews, a sister, a father, and the police don't care anything. It looks like not even just the police, it's a lot of racism and bigotry, and it's just getting worse and worse. We have a bigot for president, and I'm not afraid to say it. This is Jennifer's open book, and I don't even know what the hell a filter is. So I'm gonna say what's on my mind. Our president is a bigot, and he leaves it. He leaves that. He makes it, and he's openly a bigot. And so the bigots are openly being bigots, where you didn't know that they were there sometimes. Now you're seeing them. They're out there. They're okay with it because hey, our president says that it's all right. So it's getting worse and we're getting angrier. And what's sad to me, when you get violent to me, sometimes it seems counterproductive. And it seems as though you're acting like the animals that they accuse us. We're acting like the animals that they accuse us of being. However, some things we talked about this also, the philosophy of Martin Luther King and the difference between his philosophy and Malcolm X's philosophy. And I don't think that one thing could have worked without the other. Sometimes you got to let me some violence with peace. So we're going to talk about all of that kind of stuff. I have a lot to say. I want to know what's on your mind too, Anthony, so you can cut me off at any time. Jump one in there.
Well, I sort of feel similar to you in terms of I'm pissed off because of what has transpired, and not only with the young black male, but there was a young lady that we also spoke of. Her name slips my mind in Kentucky that police stormed into her house and killed her, and it's just incidents after incidents after incident. And I've always posed the question, though this is happening, what are we as black people going to do about it? What are we going to do about it now? I see that we are marching. We've done it over some time, and it has had some sorts of results, as we talked on the other channel with with the civil rights and gaining, civil rights in certain areas. But as far as the police brutality in terms of us being killed, I really don't see any results because things are still happening. So Yeah,
And
I'm
and
pissed.
it seems like they're doing nothing about it. They arrested one of the four police officers.
True.
Saw that report earlier today, but they only arrested one of the four police officers who had a hand in this man's death. And just because they arrested him and charged him does not necessarily mean that he's going to be convicted. And this is where the problem comes in. They arrest these guys, they have the camera footage, they have everything showing that they're guilty, but they get off. So prayerfully it won't be this case. I think that they should convict him and throw him in the kennel with the dogs. Let the brothers have him. Let the brothers have him.
And not only have they arrested this one officer, just the charge in which they gave him, which was a third degree manslaughter charge and what have you. When there was other ways that they could have increased his charges by looking at the camera and hearing the voice of this young man begging for his help, his to be released and everything. So those were intents that, in my observation, could have been grounds for a first degree murder charge. But unfortunately, they said it didn't happen. But they said that there are more charges to come, and I too am waiting for these other three officers to be arrested as well.
I just read something on social media. I don't know how true it is because I can't believe everything that's on social media. But I read that they are trying to say that that what is, I cannot remember his last name to save my life. But the young man, they're trying to say that he died because of health issues
Floyd,
and not
George
from George, and
Floyd.
not from asphyxiation, from not being choked to death. Okay, they're
That's
trying
what I
to
heard.
say that he had a bad heart and all that kind of stuff. So that's another way of them trying to let this man off. If they let him off, they're gonna have to do like they did what's his name, Darren Wilson, and all
Mm,
these other cops that they're letting off. They're gonna have to change that man's identity and move him somewhere because he's not gonna, like, you cannot get away with that. There are some people who don't care anything about going to jail. Okay,
that's true.
so but as far as it being progressive, I think that protest, we're letting our voice be heard. We are getting out there and letting people know that our lives matter. You're not going to keep on killing our sons, our kids. You're not going to keep on killing our husbands. Listen, I love black men, and we are losing black men so fast. And this is so selfish and so funny at the same time. I'm so afraid I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life because these people, the police keep on killing us. Black men. It's
That's
really bothering me. It's like, dude, you might be killing my husband right now. You're pissing me off. Stop. But
crazy.
what I'm saying is, like, they and people, there are some people who are trying to say, it's not a race thing. I have not seen a cop with their knee in the neck of a white man yet. Okay, and not because I'm blind. It has not been reported. And if
That's
I'm
true.
wrong, somebody please correct me. But they don't use the same force on black men that they use on everyone else. And me and my stepfather were just having a conversation about this, and I'm going to ask you the question: is it because they are afraid of these black men? Is it racism? Is it just because they can, or the police and they're bullies? Like, what do you think is their motivation? Are they being trained to
I,
do this?
I think it's a combination, and I have a criminal justice degree, so I can at least apply some of this knowledge. I think it's a combination of all three. The fact that they can do it because they are feel invincible, they're above the law, and two, they feel threatened, and three, they are racist. And I'll add another one to that: four, they've been programmed to think that black men are the aggressive type. They just wild and they see what they see on TV. So with a combination of all that they put together, that calls for them to do what they're not supposed to do, and that's practice tactics that are trained in the police academy. So it's a wrong situation, especially that's why I think that policemen should be trained over every year or so, however,
And
to
I think that they should undergo a psych evaluation regularly.
in order to determine whether they are fit, because they said this guy had 18 counts of complaints, or 18 complaints against him. So there was no way that this individual should have, at least been on the force. And then to top it all off, what he was doing, he was a veteran. He was on the force for some 19 years. So his intent was definitely displayed when he put his knee in the guy's back or on his neck. And after I was
It was on his neck.
and after I heard that, after they was talking about that, they after some time, when he didn't get a pulse, he still didn't move. So what is that to tell you? Definitely. So
He was trying to kill that man.
exactly.
He was trying to kill that man. And I don't care who you are. If you have anything, a knee, a hand across somebody's throat, like, how long are you gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you were trying to kill that man. That was your
Mhm.
intention. It was your
And I'm
intention to kill that man. So I went to a museum here, and they had an exhibit where police officer, he was probably a retired police officer, he was showing like some of their training exercises. And one of them was there was a guy in a casino with a knife, and the guy was a white man. They used a white man. They probably did it on purpose, but he had a knife in a casino. And the police officer was showing how they warn him first a couple of times, and then they shoot him. So of course I had a question: where did you shoot him? He shot him in the chest, and he shot him, I think, 5 times.
mm,
So my question was like, okay, so you just killed that man. He had a knife. You have a gun, and it's more than one of you. Was it necessary for you to kill him? So he briefly said, we're trained to shoot center mass because it's not like in the movies. If we aim for the arm or the leg, we could very well hit an innocent bystander. So we're trained to shoot center mass. So you're trained to kill. You're trained to shoot to kill. Okay, this man had a knife. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, he was threatening you with a knife, whatever, or a knife. But what about those boys and men who are not armed, who
yep.
are running away from you?
Yep.
Like, if they're running away from you, you know what I mean? Like,
They're no longer
you
considered to
know,
be a threat.
chase them or whatever, but they're not threatening you. They're running away from you. It's not necessary for you to shoot them in the back,
That's
which
right.
is going to go to their heart. It's not necessary for you to kill them. You know what I mean? And even if they're not, some of these men are not running away from them, they're just standing there. Like, they're minding their own business, and you're walking up to them, and they're under arrest for something petty, and then they're dead. You know what I mean? You're
Yep.
you're you're arresting them for something petty, like selling them some cigarettes, and then they're dead.
Yep.
Or a 17-year-old boy who you think stole something.
Yep.
He's
And
walking away from you being a regular 17-year-old, whatever. He's walking away from you because he didn't do anything, and you shoot him in the back. He's
yep.
dead. You just took a life, and you can't apologize, and you can't get that life back. Yes, people are pissed off. So,
And
so
that's
we were.
and
Go ahead.
and that's what I mean about, excuse me, and that's what I mean about proper training. And I know it's been said over and over and over again, but I think that's necessary to that's why also they provide non-lethal force with the batons, with the stunt guns or whatever, before you actually before you actually escalate to um, deadly force. I mean, there are other options that you can definitely try.
So right now, during these protests, they are using their other options. They are using tear gas during the protest, mind. They're using tear gas. I don't know if they're doing the rubber bullets this year. I know
Yeah.
when I was out protesting a few years ago, they were doing the rubber bullets, the water hose. They have the batons out and everything. And this time, people are they are actually attacking the police. I want you guys to be careful if you're out there doing that. I'm not telling anybody not to fight. I'm not telling anybody not to protest. I don't know what the solution is. I want you all to be careful. If you are out there, think about your family, think about your kids. And I know that's what you're thinking about and why you're angry and everything. But they also need you. So while you're out there, I want you guys to be careful because right now they're using tear gas and water and batons and stuff. But who's to say that they won't switch to, regular bullets and everything and just start spraying a crowd? Because it's been done before. You know what I mean? It's a lot of you guys out there, so I want everybody to be careful. But I was just watching on television where I actually just watched two police officers get attacked, and one of them, he was not giving up. He actually jumped on a guy. The police officer did. He jumped on a guy, and several people pulled him off of this guy. And when they pulled him off, he jumped on somebody else, and he ended up getting beat up, and he got mad and eventually walked away, which he should have did in the first place. Just walk
Hmm.
away because it's more them than it is of you right here this second. So it's you need to walk away. Um, and if you're one of the good guys, you will find a better way of dealing with the protesters. But there are not enough good guys, and I'm not saying that I don't want to. I'm not one of those people. I think that they're good and bad, everybody. So I'm not going to say that all police are horrible people, but there are a lot of terrible police officers, and we need more of the good ones so that we can save more lives. We need more counselors. You asked me. I'm sorry. Go. You want to say
Yeah,
something? I'm
I want to say that in reference to the protesting situation, I don't want to sound like a paradox, but it's true that what the good thing about this protest is that it's not only just blacks that are protesting this time. It's a mixture of everyone, and the fact of that happening is because people are who have seen the tape, and if you whether black or white, and I said this on my channel, it doesn't matter if you are black or white. You know that it's a human thing. It was very inhumane that this has happened. So whether you black or white, Asian or whatever the case may be, you see that this is wrong. So they've joined forces and have protested alongside the blacks as well to show that this definitely is wrong. And I applaud them for that, for actually understanding that it's not just a black thing.
Every time something like this happens, there is a mixture of people who protest. I think we have more of a mixture right now,
Right.
and and this is like there, and people are seeing it. You can't get away from it because there are cameras everywhere. I say this
True.
all the time. There are cameras everywhere, so people are watching this. You cannot look at these videos and say, oh, they were well within their rights. That man was fighting or something like that.
Mm-mm.
You're looking at the video and you can see that that man was not fighting. He just wanted to live. And this man, I'm so glad I didn't watch the video. Somebody told me about it. And when they told me about it, I was in tears. So if I would have watched it, I probably wouldn't have made it. I cried like crazy tears when Mike Brown got killed, and I cried like that was my child because it broke my heart that bad. So I couldn't deal with actually watching the video. I'm angry enough and sad enough without the video.
It was hard for me just to hear us cry, and every time the news, sometimes they'll play a cut of it when they go to other things. I just hurry up and hit pause because knowing the circumstances and know what happened. Oh my God, it's really hard for me to even listen to it. And the guy was crying for his mom and kids and all that. It was just sad. I mean, there's no sad, and I can't find any other words to go along with it. But it was a hurting thing because that
Yeah,
I was just that close. I never been around anyone who was killed or fighting for their lives. It was the first time of me ever hearing somebody just begging for their life. So
I popped in on CNN for a second just to see the progress of the protest, and then I popped back out because I can't. Like I said, I have a hard time, and like I said, I was involved in the Ferguson protest, and it was an awesome thing to be involved in. I can't do it now because, again, I have a 5-year-old, and I got arrested, and they were just trying to get us off the street, so I was only being held for about 6 hours. But now I have to think about, like, I'm her mom and I'm the only person that she has. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to be home with my child. So we were discussing earlier different ways of protesting. So I can't get out there and protest because um, I have to, take care of my daughter things. But I can let my voice be heard on social media, on this
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel, on your
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channel, on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook. So I'm telling you guys this because for those of you who feel like you can't do anything, but you want to do something, let your voice be heard. You're on Facebook all you talking about what you ate. Let
Yep.
people know how you feel about these situations. Go on Twitter and Instagram. Let people know. Blow up social media. Um, we have signs and T-shirts, so everywhere we go, people know how we feel about situations. Also, I people have been preaching this, and I'm a strong believer in this. Protesting helps a little bit. I think that there is little progress that is made during a protest, but eventually, um, the protest loses steam. Right now, everybody's really angry. Everybody's hot blooded. This could go on for maybe a month, but eventually it's gonna die down. The fire is gonna flicker into the flame. The key is not to let that flame go out completely.
Mm-hmm.
Don't don't fall asleep. Continue to be united in this. Whether you decide that you want to be nonviolent or violent, we all have the same goal. So
Right.
continue to be united in that goal, and see what you can do. I'm a believer in working from inside the system. I discussed this again with you earlier on your channel, how my family thought that I should be a lawyer because there were so many things in the world that wasn't right, and I have the mouth of a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
But in my law class, I took a couple law classes in high school. I learned a lot about the law, and because I was a teenager, I decided that I didn't want to become a lawyer because I didn't want to abide. But there are certain rules that a lawyer has to follow in order to keep their jobs. And I
Mm-hmm.
did not like these laws. So I didn't want to be a lawyer because I didn't want anything to do with the injustice that is in the justice system. Okay? I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of prosecuting an innocent man or defending a guilty man, and you have to do your job. But
Mm-hmm.
I was a teenager and I didn't realize back then that if I would have went to school to be a lawyer, I could have worked from inside of the system to make changes. So I said all of that to say this. We need to, while we're protesting, we need to educate our children. And these children are running around, they do not have any guidance. We need to be these kids' guidance. They need parents, they need um,
I agree.
elders to teach them the right way to go. They need guidance, and we need to be raising up lawyers. We need to be raising up judges. We need to be raising up the next black president. We had one in there that was awesome. He was a great president. We need some more in there. We need to have more psychologists and more psychiatrists because these people are mentally ill. Some of our people are mentally ill. So a lot of the people always say, well, why do y'all do this? And why? Some people are not mentally all there. And we need somebody who understands how we've been raised and what we've grown up with. Because honestly, and again, no filters on this channel, a white psychiatrist cannot tell a black person who grew up in the projects and the ghetto how to get their head together because they have not experienced that. So we need more people who have been through what we've been through in those positions. We
That's
need
true.
more black teachers. I had black teachers growing up, and they taught me what they taught everyone else, but they taught me a little bit extra about my history, and they encouraged me a little bit more because, and I didn't know this when I was younger, because when we get out into the world, we are going to be broke down. We're going to be, we're going to be made fun of or beat up or whatever, and we're going to be broke down. So they taught us, don't listen to that, don't believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is another form of protesting and another way of getting things done.
Absolutely.
I also pointed out to you, Anthony, how it bothers me because we can make a change by also voting, using our right to vote. And I hear so many Black celebrities and non celebrities,
Mm,
people with social media, people with cameras, encouraging people not to vote. And it's our people who's doing it, telling people your vote does not matter. You guys need to go back and look at all of those civil rights videos, Eye on the Prize, and whatever else you can find, and look at how all of those Black people got beat to death so that you can vote, so that your voice can be heard. They were
right.
doing the same thing that you're out there doing now for that man's, because that man got killed. They were doing that so that you can have the opportunity to let your voice be heard in the government. They were
That's true.
getting beat with water hoses and billy clubs. They were getting eaten up by dogs, dragged to jail with their heads busted open, and some people didn't make it out. Those people went through a lot so that you can have the right to vote, so that you can have the right to run for office, so that you can go to college and get an education, so that you can go to high school with all the other little kids. They went through a lot, and I need for us to take more advantage of those opportunities that those people fought for. Those people
Definitely.
protested so that you can have those rights. Just like you're protesting now so that we can stop being killed, I need for us to take advantage of what we have and work with what we got and work from on the inside. Until we start doing that, nothing. You can go out there and scream at the top of your lungs. You can tear up as many buildings as you want to. You can hold up as many signs. And I'm not knocking you for doing. I've been out there with you, and I understand why you're doing it. But you have to work within the system as well. So
Amen.
here's the thing. Here's the plan. Here's the plan, Anthony. You catch them coming, catch them going. You get them from all sides. That's how you make a change. Get them from all sides. Inside out, outside in.
Well, I strongly agree with everything that you said, and I hope that people do take heed. And because I think marching, me personally, I think marching is overdue. We've done a great deal of marching and whatnot, so we have to. We are some very well educated people, in spite of what you see. So I hope that from this point on, we've learned a lesson to know that violence does not solve anything, and I can't tell you not to do whatever you have to do, but I can only say that there are other ways, and what Jennifer just spoke on, those ways will definitely get much better results as opposed to what we're seeing now.
Hopefully you guys can see me. I don't have the same hookup I usually have on my camera, so hopefully everybody can see me, because guess what? We're not re-recording this. I'm posting this just like this. But again, I appreciate you guys joining me for this, and I appreciate Anthony for joining,
I
for
enjoyed
joining me
it.
for this. Um, again, I'm not telling you guys to stop. Keep doing what you're doing. Let your voices be heard. But when that flame starts to die down, do not let it go out. You guys
Please don't.
continue on. Continue to fight. I will educate. I'm gonna educate my child just as I was educated. My mom made sure that we saw what was going on. So I'm educating my child and my nieces and nephews, and like as I have little boys. I have a nephew, just he just started driving, and him and his brother are always out together, and I worry about them when they go out. They're
I can
17,
imagine.
they're 16 and 17 years old, and like I said, they're not caring. They're killing kids. So we were talking about this too. They're either killing them or putting them in jail. This girl told me a story about some 12-year-old boys who were playing a practical joke. They were in the sixth grade, and they had tacks in their hands, and they were going around shaking people's hands with these tacks in their hands. And they ain't had no business doing this, okay? They were hurting people. You know what I mean? They were attacked, so it wasn't like they had knives. So instead of calling these kids' parents, giving them detention, suspending them, they call the police. Now, these are 12-year-old little boys. These are still children. I don't care what you say. Maybe this is coming from a mother's perspective, but to me, a 12-year-old is still a child.
I see your point.
You know what I mean? Like, call their parents and let them know what's going on and try to work out, work something out. You know what I mean? Like, even if you have to suspend them for 10 days and they get put on punishment, whatever they have to do, but they know that this is wrong. But to immediately call the police, you're trying to get put these kids in prison. You're ruining their life before they get a life.
Already in the system.
You know what? I know why I wanted to make that point. Because everything is being recorded and you're seeing all of this. Do you remember me and you were talking? I don't remember whether I said this on one of your shows that me and you were talking, but I was talking about psychological warfare. And I was talking about how when we were slaves, how they would take. Yeah. Okay. So I was talking about how they would. We were talking about how Black women don't have any respect for Black men. A lot of Black women. I'm not gonna say because I, for one, have a lot of respect for Black men. I think you guys are strong and beautiful, and I absolutely love you guys. But we were talking about how some Black women don't have respect for Black men, and someone told me a story about how they would take a Black man in a room with his wife or his mate, and they would tie him up and they would rape this woman in front of him and they would beat her and then they would kill him in front of her. And so she lost respect for the Black man because he was not able to protect her.
I've heard of something like that.
Okay, so I'm telling you guys this story because I want you to be mindful of what you're seeing on social media. We were talking, and we didn't air this, but we were talking about emotions, and we were talking about the man who started crying, who got locked in the gated community. They wouldn't let him out. He was a delivery guy, and all these white men surround him. He ended up he was crying. I'm sure he was traumatized, and he had death in family and everything. And my issue was that someone ridiculed him for crying, but after I talked to you guys about it, I understood why people were upset for it because he was crying because he was showing weakness in front of the enemy, which is not acceptable. We're not saying that you shouldn't have feelings, but you don't show that weakness in front of your enemy. But I want you to keep in mind that this was a video that went around. A lot of people are seeing this. You're also seeing the police killing Black men on video. They're showing this to you. And so right now we're angry, but some people are. I don't want you guys to let this scare you. I don't want you to get in your head to be afraid of these people. Do not be afraid of them because of what you're seeing. Again, this is also psychological warfare. They are trying to show you, trying to make us look weak, trying to make our Black men look weak.
Great point.
And I don't want you guys to take it that way at all. This is another, even though it puts them in a bad light, it's also a form of psychological warfare. So nothing is new under the sun. Everything that's going on has been going on. It's been going on for 400 years. Over
True.
400 years.
That's so true.
So my dad always calls me Angela Davis because I keep fighting. You guys fight the good fight. I'm going to fight from where I am and fight the best way that I can. You fight the best way that you can. Again, I'm not telling you what to do and what not to do. I just want you all to be careful and be safe out there. Continue to let your voice be heard. Don't let anybody shut you up. Don't let anybody scare you. I always say this. My faith leaves no room for fear. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart and in every aspect of my life.
That's a great point.
You, Anthony, listen, don't think because you blind you gotta I don't know what I'm trying to say. They will still mess with you, so I want you to be safe.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know I'm not excluded because of me being visually impaired. So I'm always on my toes and always aware and what have you. So that's never going to be put on the back burner, so to speak. So I'm always alert and stay out of their way, and they stay out of my way, and that'll
There
keep
are
us.
some people who think that they are safe because they have a handicap or a disability or because they're blind and visually impaired. I think you were telling me about some people who don't think that racism exists because they can't see and stuff like, and that's like no reason. We are all human beings,
It's true.
and we are human beings without sight. That's all. It
That's
doesn't
right.
mean that the rest of the world is gone. It just means that you can't see it.
That's true. That's definitely true.
And I've experienced racism in my life, so I can tell you firsthand. Being a blind black woman, I've experienced it. So you being blind does not um
Exclude you.
exclude you,
It's
exempt you. That's the word I was looking for, exempt. It does not exempt you from anything. I'm blind and I got arrested
mm.
protesting. You know
So
what I mean?
def
I got a little bit better treatment than the other protesters, but I got arrested. So yeah, and I'm gonna tell you like this: the reason why I got a little bit nervous when I got arrested is because they don't have a special blind people's jail. They don't have a handicap section. They would throw you right down there in general population. Where I hope they throw those 4 officers who killed that man in general population. Like I said, let the brothers have it.
mm. Amen. Definitely. I definitely enjoyed this topic. For I mean,
So do
it
you
is.
have you have anything else to say about it?
No, you've covered everything.
Mhm.
Like I
I
was
did all
saying.
of the talking.
I definitely enjoyed because it got a lot of things off my chest that I wanted to get off, and I feel a little better because I mean I had a lot of pent up emotion and talking about it definitely helps. So I appreciate that opportunity.
Well, you guys, as you can see, the sun is going down. I can't see. I hope I'm not sitting in the dark right now recording this, but I'm getting ready to sign off. Check Anthony out at.
Third Eye Visions, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kind.
And again, thank you guys for joining Jennifer's Open Book. I hope you guys got something out of this. And like I said, keep doing what you're doing, you guys. Be safe. I said what I said. I meant what I said. I'm not taking nothing back. I love you.
Bye, y'all.